Hey, welcome to our show here tonight. Welcome to We'll Sing and We'll Shout. I've got Daryl and Judy on here singing and shouting with me tonight. We're going to talk about metabolic health and insulin resistance and how blessed we all feel by the changes that have happened in our lives here in recent months and years. And just to, I've had Daryl on before, and Daryl has shared a lot of his story in the past. Daryl, why don't you introduce Judy a little bit, if you would?
Certainly, absolutely. This is my favorite mother-in-law.
Very good, Daryl.
Yeah, this is Miss Annie's mom, and she's a spry, young, little 85-year-old. She's just had her birthday. She's an amazing lady. I've appreciated her being in my life for almost 42 years, Mom. Can you believe that?
Oh,
So
no.
she is.
Wowzers.
Yeah, she's been on the protocol almost as long as we have, but
15 months, Daryl.
15
Yeah.
months.
yeah. And anyway, she's an amazing lady and would love to hear her story.
Yeah. Well, in fact, Daryl, I don't have, as you know, or perhaps you know, I don't really have a big outline for tonight. But why don't we let Judy go ahead and share some things and talk about her experience and her story and what the protocol did for her, and then maybe you and I will jump into the science and the issue of insulin resistance a little more. But Judy, if you're willing, please go ahead and share.
I would absolutely love to. You know, at 85, a lot of people think when they get to be older that they've got to be, they're expecting all the things that are supposed to happen when the doctors tell you, well, you're older, and that's just the way it goes. But you know what? Doesn't have to. And that's what excites me about this system, this protocol that we talk about that we're on, because at my age, I have a lot of energy. I've had my blood work done. It's in the perfect range. I've had some serious kidney problems in the past, and those are cleared up. My kidneys are good. My cholesterol is great. My blood work is fine. I have plenty of energy. Do I have a couple of little problems? Yes, but I see the protocol making a change on that. I've had what they call aspergillus in my lungs, which has taken over 50% of both lungs, and they're filled with scar tissue. However, it hasn't gotten any worse in the last couple of years. I've probably had it 40 plus years. I practice breathing, deep breathing. I still walk 4 to 6 miles a day. I just looked before I got on here. I haven't missed a day in 1,926 days.
Wow, fantastic.
Wow.
I'm a
And
little,
you're saying that's 4 to 6 miles a day, you say?
yes, yes.
Consistent walking. That's fantastic, Judy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I just, I'm a little OCD about it because sometimes I'm walking when, maybe I ought to be talking or something to other people. But I get up in the morning, and most of the time I walk outside. I live in Florida, so it's beautiful here, and that's my time to be grateful and to count my blessings and to ask, who do I help today? And so it's just a really sweet time for me. And it has led to some amazing, what we call God winks sometimes, And I'm going to take just a minute because of my being 85, I connect quite well with people who are, older. And some of the people that that might be on this call tonight, if they're not older, they've got parents or cousins or, people they know that are older. And so I'm not hoping, because I know that I can give hope to others. And I want to share this one story of this lady that's 80. Her name is Carol Cook. I first talked to her last September, and she said, oh, I just want to feel better. If I can get a little energy, if I can just, I'd like to lose weight, but I'm not sure I could. So let me just read this little bit. This is over a couple of texts that she has sent me. And this text she started in September. This text she sent me in January. She said, this is the first program that I've ever been diligent about following. I'm down 17 pounds. I have 2 meals a day. And for whatever reason, snacks have darn near been gone. And that is a miracle. In the past, I had emphasis on had to have something sweet. Carbs were my addiction. Then they went to Arizona. They're from Kansas. Then they went to Arizona. And on April 16th, she sends me this, which, is just a couple months ago, actually. She said, I don't know what happened, but the last few days I started walking. And since I got home to Kansas again, I've been walking every morning like a switch turned on. And I'm feeling so good and have had energy I didn't even know I had. So I am pumped. This, my dear Judy, is a miracle. And I have other stories of people that are older who I remember her telling me when I talked to her in September, oh, I'll probably never be able to walk, and I just want to lose a little weight if possible. Well, listen to that. September to April on this. What amazing. What amazing. And I'm going to share one more if that's okay.
Yep. You go ahead, Judy.
And this is another lady that is I think she was 77. And you may have heard about her before, but her name is Doris Cole. And she said, I'm very shy and I don't want to get on and say anything myself, but you can use my name because I want my story told. So she said she'd been watching Miss Annie and Daryl for a long time. And I mentioned this because we have a lot of people out there that follow Daryl and Annie and think about it or don't think about it, but they move on down the road for a while. And then they decided, well, maybe I'll try this. And this was this lady. She'd been diabetic for 51 years. And her A1C has always been high and as high as 14. So you that are diabetics understand 14 is way up there. And she said, I use 140 units of insulin a day. She's on a pump. She said, I went to my doctor for my blood work in March. And she started this in January of this year. Sorry, she started a protocol in January. She said, I went to my doctor for my blood work in March, and my A1C was 7.7. It's never been that low. And he was surprised and said, I was his A+ patient. She said, and I don't know what happened to me, but I stopped taking it for a while. And she said, actually, for a few weeks. And she said, I finally started following it again, went back in June for her blood work, and her A1C had at this time gone down to 7. And so he pulled up the chart, the doctor pulled up the chart on her insulin pump, the history, and 70% of the time her pump is not working because it doesn't have to put out that much insulin. He said that I was no longer his A+ patient, but I was now his all-star patient.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was a God wink when I started watching Miss Annie and Daryl's post because my high school sweetheart of 54 years had just passed away, and their lives gave me hope and led me to start the Feel Great system that's giving me my life back.
Wow.
Do I? I get emotional over this because, when I started this protocol, Annie and Daryl had not told me what they were doing. I mean, it's his favorite mother-in-law, and she didn't tell me. I went, what? Because they know how I am about alternative things. So immediately when I heard about this, believe it or not, it was immediate that night. It was like the spirit was sitting on my shoulder saying, you need to be involved with this because it's a mission for you to share this with people. And so I got my system ordered, got on it. I've had amazing results myself, but it's been like, I told Annie today when I was talking to her, I said, I was so excited about it when I heard about it, right after that's 15 months ago. And I said, I am more excited today because of the stories that we hear. I won't go into our brother's story that's 76, but that is another miracle story with him. So sometime we'll talk about that. But I love this. I love the opportunity. I love it as a mission. And I got to run double fast pretty soon because, you know, who knows? Who knows? We all got a time limit. But meanwhile, I better be making time.
Judy, you only got like 15 years left.
Yeah. And you know,
So,
you know how fast that goes?
so you need to hustle. Yeah. You need to put some hustle behind the message. So, Judy, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, Daryl, it was July 23rd a year ago. No, I'm sorry, actually, let me correct that. It was July 21st a year ago when I saw you on a Facebook Live sharing about this protocol. And that was early on for you. That was back when you were pretty uncomfortable getting on a camera. And I could tell that night that Daryl's not having a lot of fun in front of the camera. But I could also tell that Daryl really believes like what he's talking about. Like he's sharing something from the heart. I hate showing this picture, but that was me and my wife there a year ago in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. I weighed right around 220 pounds. And today I weigh right around 180 pounds. And I cannot even begin to express, how grateful I feel for the changes that have come to pass in my life this past year. And it's not just the weight loss. I mean, I'm metabolically, I'm so much more healthy than really I ever have been in my life. And I'm so grateful for this fasting protocol and the products that we use, the nutraceuticals. They just help you do the fasting. The fasting is what really does the works. But without the support of the products, there's no way I could have ever accomplished this. And it's such a blessing to be able to find something that's all natural, no medications, no unknown chemicals, just all natural food products that have been blended in such a way as to support our fasting. And that allows us to be successful. And this change that's happened in my life this year, I mean, that's the only reason that I would consider, like, this guy would have never gotten on a Facebook Live. This would have never happened a year ago. I didn't even want to see the camera. I mean, like my daughter-in-law, forced me to do this. She doesn't say that, but she really did. I mean, it was not optional. Now I am so glad that she made me do that because otherwise I wouldn't have any before picture. So really, really grateful that we captured that guy, and I don't want to ever see him again. But yeah, Daryl, gosh, thanks to you for being brave and bold and sharing that a year ago. And I know you have affected my life in a huge way, but you've also affected, hundreds, thousands of others through Miss Annie's reach and through your own means. You've made a big impact on a lot of people's health and well-being. And I know there are a lot of people besides just myself who have benefited greatly. Do any other stories? I mean, you could share your own story, but maybe there's some other stories of people who have had success similar to what I have had. Do you have any stories like that?
Me or Judy?
Yeah, you, Daryl. Yeah.
Me? Well, the ones I'm most familiar with and the ones that I really know well are Ben, Judy's youngest sister's husband. He was 300 and something pounds when he started, and now he's down to I think he said 230 something today.
Wow.
So he's lost 70 something. And on top of that, he has seen miracle upon miracle as far as how he's been able to respond to surgeries. A knee replacement absolutely was a breeze for him. He had a cochlear implant, no issues whatsoever. I think those were the two main ones, right? Right, Mom?
Yeah, those were the two main ones for Ben. And he had, excuse me, a knee surgery before that took a long time. And he was not looking forward to this one. He'd had shoulder problems before, some surgeries, and yet he just breezed right through this one. Because of the strength, the added strength that it had given him, and he was able to walk. I mean, it's amazing. The surgeries that you had, Daryl, that you recovered from so quickly.
absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Steve, but a few months ago I had my gallbladder removed. I had a hernia in my belly button. Went in, saw that my gallbladder was really a mess. No other way of saying that. And the doctor said it'd probably been that way for a couple of decades. And they removed it. And upon removing it, it actually had attached to my colon. And there was an issue with removing it, caused a hole, created a hole, did something to my colon that wasn't right. So I ended up, it was supposed to be an hour in and out day surgery thing, and I ended up spending the night in the hospital. But they stitched up my colon, took out my gallbladder, and the next day I went home, and it was a really quick recovery from that. And I'm grateful that the system, this Feel Great system, was a part of my life to allow me to go through that quickly. I mean, I don't think I missed another day. I don't think I missed a day of work other than the day of being in the hospital for overnight. Anyway, good stuff. Really appreciate what it's done for me. And Steve, I appreciate you saying what you said. You couldn't see it, but I was kind of tearing up here as you were expressing your gratitude for what I did, and even though I wasn't very comfortable at the time. And I don't know that I'm all that comfortable now. I am who I am, and trying to get better at this communication web thing, doing whatever. And but what it's done for me, I cannot not share it. And what it's done for many, many people. I got a text today, and I tried to look for it. I couldn't find it, but her results are just absolutely amazing. And as I read through these things, I guess I'm just an old tender guy. I tear up easy when I read these things, and when appreciation is expressed, which Steve, I thank you for sharing that.
Well, you're impacting people's lives, Daryl. You're adding years to their lives, but you're also adding life to their years, and people feel that. And what greater gift, can you give somebody than improved health and longer life? And I've felt that in such a huge way this past year. So wow. And you talk about increased strength to deal with surgery and different things. That is something that I've experienced in a huge way this last 6 months. Even though I haven't been able to lose any additional weight beyond that initial, essentially 40 pounds, I've been using the Stronghold product along with the Fiber Balance every day. And I am 40% stronger at the rec center on the weight machines that I use than I was 6 months ago.
Awesome.
It has been phenomenal. Like I would have never, like if I had gotten 20% stronger, I'd be like, wow, that's incredible. But no, 40% stronger than I was 6 months ago while I've been doing this fasting regimen. It's been amazing for me. Now I go in there and I do the work. You got to do the work, but the strength has been there to increase the weight. And even when I'm not moving increased weight, I'm moving the same weight in more reps, or in a better way. So, hey, let's throw up this little wheel of misfortune here that we like to call it.
I like that name. I hadn't heard that.
The key, the root cause here is insulin resistance, and we could spend some time talking about insulin resistance, but the core issue of insulin resistance is that your cells are just not getting the energy that they need out of the bloodstream because they have become resistant to the hormone insulin, which is trying to get the energy into the cells. And the reason they've become resistant is because we're pumping too much highly refined sugars and carbohydrates down the bloodstream, and we're doing it way too often. And so at some point the cells just begin to shut down and say, hey, I'm not interested in that message anymore. And when we have too much insulin flowing in our bloodstreams, then we start to develop all these other problems: obesity, diabetes, various forms of cancer, fatty liver, heart disease, high blood pressure. And as we know, Daryl, 93% of American adults are metabolically unhealthy to a greater or lesser degree. And that shows up in all these different things. And what we've learned, and what I've experienced and so many other people have, is if you get to that root cause and you lower insulin resistance, and hopefully even push insulin resistance away to where your cells become insulin sensitive, that's the ideal state. But to lower your insulin resistance, a lot of these other issues start to fade away and even disappear. And that is such a phenomenal thing that I've experienced, and that so many other people have too. But any thoughts there, Daryl?
I agree. I've seen these things being overcome. I have a friend, a dear friend, that lives in the Phoenix area that struggled with migraines on a daily basis. He started this, and now he has migraines maybe once a month, sometimes twice a month, where it used to be daily. Being able to see how this helps individuals overcome these types of issues is absolutely amazing. And you talked about insulin resistance, what it is, and how this actually allows the cell, takes the insulin, the too much insulin. Now, we still need insulin in our system, but we don't need too much. And what this allows us to do is to reduce the amount of insulin. And when the insulin is low, then the fat resources they leave. You've witnessed that. I've witnessed that. You feel it. And that's, even though we don't talk about this being a weight loss product, it's a byproduct of overcoming insulin resistance. And that's an amazing feat in and of itself. So.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I had never experienced anything like I did when the first 4 or 5 months I was on this program, and felt my insulin resistance lower, and along with that, the excess body fat just literally melt off. And I lost 50 pounds over the course of 5 months, but then things leveled back and I put a few pounds back on. But I've been able to maintain that essentially 40-pound weight loss for the last additional 6 months. And it has just it's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal. And as good as the products are, the knowledge, the understanding of what has been going on for me, this understanding of insulin and insulin resistance has been so powerful, because now I know what I'm doing. I'm not just taking something and hoping for the best. Now I know exactly what these products are doing for me, and how to manage that. So, well, Daryl, thank you to you and Judy for jumping on here tonight, and you're sharing your stories. Thank you so much to you, Judy, for your time. And we'll get you back on here again sometime in the future, Judy, and let you share some more.
That's lots of good stories.
I know you do, and you're such a powerful promoter for these products and for this system. So thank you for that. Daryl, any closing thoughts before we let you go?
Steve, I think it's wonderful being able to get on and share the good news, right? The FGS news, the Feel Great system, and how it's actually saving not only our lives here on the show, but so many more lives. And to be a part of that, to make that, to make it your mission, to change lives, to help people, to feel great, to feel good. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share that. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to hear Judy talk about how well it's treated her in the experiences and the interactions that she's having with her friends, her customers, her brothers and sisters, her family. Just the list could go on. She's, she hinted on a story with Clark, and that's for another night. But man, that's a powerful story. So
Very powerful story.
Okay. Well, it's a program that
Steve,
causes you to.
thing.
Go ahead, Judy. What were you going to say?
One more thing that people are afraid of a lot of times, and that's the fact that no, like you said, this is a food product, and it's been proven that it does not interfere with any medicines that they're on. Not any medicines. It doesn't counteract it. It's listed in the physician's digital reference that they can all pull up on their computers, and so can anybody else. And so you can look it up there, and it does not interfere with any other meds. So whatever they're on, they can take it with it. It's
Right.
just important.
Anybody who catches this live and thinks they may be interested, please just message me, and I will provide you the information that you need. And it's called the Feel Great System, and it causes you to want to sing and shout. So it fits right into to my programming here tonight. Thank you again, Daryl and Judy, and thank you to anyone who was on board here or catches us on the replay. And we will catch up with you all again soon. Take care.
thanks, Steve.